Hey, afternoon, welcome back to shop. So I'm going to try quickly to determine if this 394 cylinder can be saved. So the story with this is that this 394 that's been decked. If you look at the Molly on the side right here, this has been decked, it's been cut on my lathe, it's been ported, and the customer came back after a year, smoked it. So here's the piston. You can see the damage. Hopefully, let me get in the light right here. If you watch this teardown video on this, if you didn't watch the teardown video, watch the teardown video. You can see how on the exhaust side it melted a line right through the piston right here. It's actually dripping. That's how bad it melted the aluminum right here. And what I believe happened was that I believe the decomp valve stuck open just because of the location and the type of melting that it is. It melted on, let me get light in here. It melted on the exhaust side and right where, if you can, right below, if you can see the light dot in there, the decomp valve comes in right below that. And it only did it on the side. It didn't smoke the whole, the whole exhaust side. It didn't score up the whole piston on the whole exhaust side. Just that drip right down that corner right there. And you can see the aluminum transfer in there. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to determine if this cylinder can be saved or not. And how you do that is we have to take the aluminum transfer. Let me make sure that you guys can see down here. See down at the bench here. So my wife has got some stuff going on down the other end, but all right, so you can see down. As long as I keep my hands in the middle, you'll be able to see it. So what you do is you need to take the aluminum off of the Nikasil plating. And this Nikasil plating in here is pretty tough. And the way that you do that is with a flapper arbor. Okay, so you can see this arbor right here with a groove cut in it. And then like an emery cloth. And as this spins in here, it expands and you can be pretty targeted with where you go and how you do this. And you can just target the aluminum transfer and take it out little by little. There's a couple of important things here. First of all, this kit right here from Harbor Freight with all these little things of emery cloth in it. And is there a number on this? Here's the part number on the back. That comes with this arbor in it. Or you can make one. You can make one out of a nail or whatever you want. You can do this in a drill. I'm going to do it in a Dremel because I do have actually this is a Harbor Freight Dremel too, but this one has adjustable speed. So I can slow it down and speed it up. The problem with going really fast is that this emery cloth will, fling way out sideways. But you want to slow it down just a little bit. As it wears, you can tear pieces off. But you can build these out of, pretty much out of anything. I can't remember whether I had to cut this groove in this or not. I think in this kit, it comes grooved. And that kit's pretty cheap. Now, I've done several OEM cylinders like this. So not only do I know it's doable, but I have several of them out running in the field with loggers and tree services that are still running perfect, where I've saved their cylinder instead of putting a Chinese cylinder on it. The other thing that you want to get yourself is, and again, sorry about the Harbor Freight, but at Harbor Freight you want to grab yourself one of these arbors too to go in a drill. And what you do with this is, you can see this one's already been used, but basically you can take the 3M Scotch-Brite pads, you put this on a drill, you can shove this right inside the cylinder with some WD-40 and spin this in the cylinder, and this will clean up the cylinder as well. Use this as a finishing stage. I'm going to grab one. That's down the road. And also you need a hone. Now, a smaller hone like this isn't very good, because on certain cylinders it can get stuck inside the transfer ports or in the other ports. Now, in this particular cylinder, I could, once you get it past the lower transfers, I could hone on the upper side above the lower transfers, and these won't go in. But if you get yourself a large hone like this Laguna here, as long as the cylinder itself is greater than a 2-inch bore, this will go in it. I think this is, yeah, it says 2 to 7 inch. And on the big saws like the 394, sorry, this is 394 OEM, that hone will go in here. So we use that as a finishing stage too, to kind of check where we are. So those are the components that you use to do this. This can go really, really quick. It doesn't take very long to do this. I'm kind of fragmented here in the shop, and I apologize for that, but I was kind of sitting around doing nothing. It's going to be a crappy day. And the wife's at work. I'm not milling today, so I wanted to see if I could at least do something here. So, and I want to work on the cylinder, and I want to get some of it on video. So what I'm going to do is, let me see if I can get this light. I don't know how far this will come over. It's kind of like that's it. So just give me some light here. This cylinder, just to give you an idea of how long it's been around, 41001 was when somebody worked on the cylinder on the saw before me. So this cylinder's been around for 22 years. The good part about doing this is that this cylinder goes in the garbage 99% of the time. Make sure you're looking at it. There's not many people that would even try to save this cylinder. So you're not going to do any damage to it. Now, could somebody better than you, like if you watch Scotty Coons, Tree Monkey is where I got this process from. Now, is there going to be a situation where Scotty Coons could save it and you can't? Maybe. But overall, you're not going to do any damage to this. Let's start this off really slow. We're just going to get it kind of spinning the right. So you see how that works. So this is going at speed 2 on my little adjustable speed thing here. You don't want to go too fast, because if you go too fast, you could actually bend that arbor if it starts flinging all over the place. But you don't have to worry about wrecking it. So that's kind of the good part. The only thing that we're going to do here is, the only thing that we're really going to do is possibly help this and save it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lubricate that area with a little bit of WD-40 first. Let's actually, I'm going to just kind of get some inside the cylinder everywhere here as lubrication. So I know that you're not going to be able to see inside the cylinder, so some of this you're going to kind of have to take my word for it. Let me get some of this out. I'm going to get this on my bench, but that's what a workbench is for. My maple laminated joinery bench. What you kind of want to do is you're going to kind of want to start with this inside the cylinder. And we're going to go right through the area where the aluminum transfer is. And then what we're going to do is we're going to check it. See how our progress is going here. Now, I'm going to show you this right now. Just kind of wipe out some of the WD-40 here. I'm going to show you this really quick because a good deal of that transfer is already gone. So if I get the light in here right, a good deal of that transfer is already gone. What you want to do is you want to keep working until you don't see any. So if you see those shiny spots, the lighter colored spots, that's the aluminum. And there's some above the exhaust too, the exhaust port. We're going to keep working until those are gone. And we're going to check with our finger and see if we can feel any low spots. If there's low spots, it's junk. But my experience in the past has been that it takes a lot to get through that Nikasil. It really does. I know that it sounds kind of funny to say that when you see something as destroyed as this piston is, and as bad as that, that drip is there, but the aluminum is not as hard as the Nikasil. So it does take a lot to destroy that Nikasil. And you keep working on it. Get up a little more speed maybe. Go a little bit above. And it's a very non-invasive way to do this. I might have to change that paper up. So right now we are making good progress. More has come out. I'm just going to check it with my finger. It's hard to tell yet. I bet, this isn't my first rodeo, so I might feel a gouge there. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to keep going. The aluminum can really be, it can be tricky as far as how it presents itself. There's a lot of transfer on there. It can feel like there's a gouge when there really isn't. Yeah, this is a perfect example of that. So I thought for a minute that I could feel a gouge, and now it's pretty much gone. I am going to tear off a little of that paper. And go work on this some more. I'm making good progress right now. It's coming out. I've had it come out faster than this, but right now it is coming out pretty nicely. There's not much left there. It's fairly smooth. There's still quite a bit above the exhaust that I have to get at. I know that, you know, you wouldn't expect it to be gone already. You know, that would be like a friggin' miracle. You want to keep it moving while you're in here. I'll show you what that looks like right now. I'm still just trying to determine whether there's a gouge here or not. I can tell you this, that even if there is a small divot in the plating there, this piston would still seal and run. I think this piston's going to be, this cylinder is going to be fine. Let me just show you where we're at here. If I get the light right. So it's almost gone. There's still a little bit there. And after I get the rest of that out, we'll throw the hone through it. There's a teeny little bit on the intake side, on kind of in line with that jet also. I'm going to try and wipe that stuff off too, if you can see that up there on that line. That's not focusing very well, but you see that, you can see that aluminum transfer right there on the top above the intake port. I'm going to try and take that out too in a second. I want to keep working on this one area. You want to start with, you know, this has got 80, 100, and 120 in it. You want to stick to the core stuff. Don't waste your time going with the finer grits. I still think there's enough good stuff on this one to keep using it. We'll keep trying it. If it stops cutting, then you just replace it. Take a little more off. I might have to replace one at this thing, but we'll just keep trying it right now. I'm getting there though. It's definitely still coming off. And because you got no pressure on it, the only pressure is the flap, you know, the centrifugal force making it kind of flap out. Not very invasive way to do it. Oh, there you go. Failure. Broke the arbor. Shit the video. My arbor just broke. Which isn't really a big deal. I can always throw it in my lathe and turn it down to fit this, but well, that kind of craps the video, doesn't it? So what we're going to do, I've had this a while too. Now instead of it broke off right here. Now I can always, like I said, I can always throw this in my lathe and turn this down, but that's gonna, I can still probably reach the top with it. That's gonna have to be a separate project. So let's throw the hone in here and see where we're at. That's too bad too. It's almost all gone too. All right, let me just grab my drill. Or grab a drill, keeping the inside job. Just kind of dust up the bore. Oh, hi, honey. Kate's home. Home through it. How was your day?
Are you on camera?
Yep.
Done, thankfully.
Nice.
What are you guys doing?
Trying to see if we can save Tommy Mac's cylinder.
Nice.
I just broke my arbor on my flapper disc, so
I hate when I break my arbor on my
I hate when I break my arbor on my flapper disc. Let's just kind of get you guys up a little bit, backed up, so this takes a little bit more space. We'll just throw this through here quick and see where we're at, and then I'll have to come up with an arbor solution for the other thing. So we're going to just lubricate these. Throw a little bit in here. The great part about doing it with the arbor with the flapper disc is you can keep going until there's no more in there. All right, so going forward. You don't want to go backwards with these because you'll spin the stones off. You don't want to pull it out so far that the past the middle, so the stones angle. They'll cut a chamfer on this. Not that a chamfer is a bad thing, but you want to keep it inside the bore. Let's give it a little bit more lubrication in there. When you take these out, you're going to want to compress them and pull them out. And you can see that from, these stones are pretty loaded with stuff. See that they're working. So let's give it a look. Clean out the inside of this and we'll give it a look and see where we're at. And we'll feel that low spot, see if you can see how much it was taking, how much it was working in there. You can also run a Scotch-Brite through it too afterwards. And what that hone is telling me is there is a gouge in the plating. That sucks. The good thing about the hone is the hone will show you, and I'll show you in a second here after I clean this out good, where any imperfections are in the bore. I'll show you where the imperfections are in the bore. Now I can see them better. Let's get a little bit drier one here. So this board basically is all re-cross hatched now, kind of like new. Took out everything above, took out all the aluminum transfer on the intake side. Show you what's going on. I can see it pretty clearly. So there is a groove right there. There is a groove. There is a low spot because that hone is skipping over it. The question is, will that come? I don't believe that will come all the way out. That's really too bad. The rest of the inside of the cylinder looks pretty good too. There's one little ding on the bottom of the cylinder right there where I had to punch, the cylinder was locked in and I had to punch the cylinder out. So there's a ding in the bottom of the cylinder that wouldn't make any difference, but that line right there, I'll run a Scotch-Brite through it too. You can clean these stones off with kind of screwed here and for what do you call it, room here, but you can clean these stones off with a Scotch-Brite. And also you can flip the stones over too. You can undo the, oh, these ones you can't, sorry, I take it back. Usually they have a pin through here that you can flip them over, these ones you can't flip over. And this set of hones I think I got at like a Discount Auto or Napa, I'm not sure. I'm wondering whether I should run this through one more time. I think I will. I think I'll run it through one more time, see if it helps, and then we'll run the Scotch-Brite in it. It's really too bad. It looks like this cylinder's junk, and there's no coming by 394 cylinder is really hard. 395, no problem. 394 is a problem. So let's go ahead and hold it on a little more. You can kind of feel when it stops cutting. Put a little more WD-40 in there. Let's get our hose out. And of course, you know, you should be, to clean this, you use brake clean and blow it out completely. But right now, what we're doing isn't hurting anything as far as the spore goes. Most of that line came out, but it's still there. See if I can clean it now, give you a better look. Show all over Kate's stuff. Give you a look at it now. So most of that line came out, but there is still some of it. There's a little bit of a groove right below the exhaust port right there. And starting to wonder now whether that's aluminum or not, if it's high. Now I don't feel a groove. Yeah, I don't feel a groove now.
Yeah.
Yep,
Kathleen just called
yep,
and wants to know if we can go downtown to
Yep.
put the scarecrow up
yep,
at 30,
okay,
which is like not long from now.
okay,
I'm gonna be down for 20 minutes.
okay. Cool.
Sort
Right.
of. It is what it is,
Yep.
and we just have to get it done.
So tell you what, guys, I'm gonna reserve judgment on this yet. It doesn't feel low. Feels like that just could be aluminum sitting on top. There's no groove here. I think it might just be a bump of aluminum. This might be okay. I don't want to take that all out with the hone. I want to continue. I'm gonna have to machine that arbor down and we're gonna go at this with the flapper disc because, man, it's really hard to tell. It's really hard to tell whether that is low or it's high. My fingernail skates right over it. It's more like a rough spot than anything else. I'm wondering if this can still be saved. And some guys do this with acid. I can tell you that I've never done it with acid, but the guys that do it with acid, it does work. Basically what it does, it eats the aluminum off. The flapper disc, I think, is a fairly safe and very kind of least invasive way to do it. Let's do a Scotch Brite bag really quick. Show you what that looks like. So the question is that one little ding right there. Everything else is pretty much gone. Inside of the cylinder's like brand new, except for that one little ding right there below the exhaust. And I think what I'm going to do kind of feels low. Really hard to tell. It's a real small spot. Now, one good part about that is it's below the compression part of the cylinder. That might be okay. Everything above the compression part of the stroke is all good. So one little ding right there below the exhaust. Well, I'm going to kill it here. I'll give you an update later, but I'm going to kill it here. This cylinder certainly would run. I'm going to clean it up and machine my arbor down to the right size on the lathe so I can still use this, and we'll take it from there. But that's how you do it. So as far as the how do I do it, I think this video pretty much covered the basics, and I think the cylinder's okay. So that's kind of how you go about it. That's a very expensive cylinder, so if it will run like that, I think it's worth putting the piston in and trying it, because these are hard to come by in the 394. So I think what we'll end up doing is we will end up throwing in a piston in this, see if I can get the rest of that. I'm really just trying to determine whether it's high or not, or whether it's a divot. Like if I get the light just right, maybe I can tell. It's a very, very, very small spot. And it's a very, very, very small spot, and it's really, really close. I think it would be fine. See the cross hatching in the cylinder. Other than where my punches hit on the bottom down there. So I think I might run the hone through it just a little bit more later. And maybe one more pass with the hone, and I think I'm going to call this at least a put it back together and try it with a new piston. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Hit me up if you have any questions.